An 11-year-old schoolboy selling door-to-door candy for his PTA fundraiser was raped and strangled by a 15-year-old neighbor. 7 Mississippi high schoolers were gunned down by a rampaging classmate, who began his murder spree by knifing his mother to death. And a 14-year-old Kentucky boy mowed down 8 members of his high school prayer group with a .22 caliber Luger handgun. In March 1998, just 3 months after the Kentucky massacre, a pair of schoolboy snipers, ages 11 and 13, ambushed their classmates in Jonesboro, Arkansas, killing 4 female students and a teacher, and wounding 9 other children. But even the Jonesboro massacre paled beside the bloodbath that took place the following year at a Colorado high school, whose name has become synonymous with the nightmare of juvenile gun violence: Columbine. This spate of atrocities by underage killers provoked the inevitable reaction from a People magazine cover story on children without conscience to the outcries of assorted pundits who pointed accusatory fingers at the usual sociological suspects: family disintegration, loss of religious values, ultra-violent video games, etc. In attempting to come to grips with any cultural phenomenon, however, it helps to place it in a larger context. And even a cursory glance at the annals of crime makes it clear that killer kids have always been with us. Journalist David James Smith, for example, begins his study of the Bulger killing with a survey of British juvenile murder cases, the earliest of which, that of 10-year-old William York, who was convicted of stabbing a 4-year-old girl to death, took place in 1748. In our own country, homicidal children have been a subject of psychiatric and criminological concern for decades. In an article called Youthful Killers, published in Outlook and Independent magazine in January 1929, journalist Milton McKay cited the histories of the top 10 notorious boy killers of the preceding 5 years, whose ranks included Gordon Peary, the 15-year-old New York City lad who killed his chum with an axe to see what it was like, and 17-year-old Frank McDowell, who burned his 2 sisters to death and exactly a year later shot and killed his father. In the December 1959 issue of the American Journal of Psychiatry, Dr. Loretta Bender of Creedmoor State Hospital published an essay, Children and Adolescents Who Have Killed, in which she declared that since 1935, she had personally known 33 boys and girls who, before they were 16 years of age, had been associated with the death of another person. A few years later, in the January 1962 issue of Social Work, another mental health professional, Dr. Douglas Sargent of the Detroit Child Study Clinic, flatly asserted that homicide committed by children is not rare, and noted that no fewer than 9 child homicide cases had been referred to the Wayne County Juvenile Court in the previous year. The redoubtable crime historian John Marr has dug up dozens of U.S. cases involving murderous minors, dating from the pre-Civil War period to the Great Depression. And during the winter season of 1998, Manhattan's cultural offerings included both Paul Simon's Broadway musical The Cape Man, about a notorious double slaying committed by a 16-year-old gang member in 1959, and a major exhibit of photographs by the legendary cameraman Ouija, which featured a precinct house portrait of a 16-year-old named Frank Pape, who confessed to strangling a 4-year-old boy in November 1944, for no motive, according to the New York Times, other than to try out something he had seen in a motion picture. Other examples abound. It seems evident that, far from being the product of any particular cultural moment, juvenile violence is a manifestation of something inherent in human nature, of that instinct for primordial cruelty English novelist William Golding portrays so powerfully in his classic parable Lord of the Flies. Shakespeare, too, obviously knew all about children's potential for evil, as Gloucester's bitter observation in King Lear reveals. As flies to wanton boys are we to the gods. They kill us for their sport. What Shakespeare doesn't say, but what criminal history makes frighteningly clear, is that the wanton boys who begin by torturing insects sometimes progress to higher life forms. Lizards.